This is a popular Japanese story. It is about a poem called Tomino's Hell. They say that you should only read out with your mind and never out loud. If you were to read it out loud, then you must take responsibility for your actions. Tomino's Hell is written by Yamada Inuhiko in a book called The Heart is Like a Rolling Stone, and was included in Saizo Yaso's 27th collection of poems in 1919. It's not sure how this rumor started, but there's only a warning that if you read this poem out loud, tragic things will happen. It just looks like a curse. It asks to not compare this with the common, "you'll grow taller," or "even my parents died." Do you get a sense of how dangerous this is? The story used to be very popular in 2chan, and there were many people taking pictures and videos as proof and posting them on 2chan. There were many users that said that nothing had happened, but there were also many posts that didn't have the users come back to post the results. I think it's scarier than someone posting that someone else got sick or that someone else passed away. But if you were to read it out loud, it's better to read it in Japanese rather than the translation. Tomino no Jigoku, Tomino's Hell, by Saijo Yaso. Ane wa chi wo haku, imoto wa hihaku. His older sister vomited blood, his younger sister vomited fire. Kawaii Tomino wa tama wo haku. And the cute Tomino vomited glass beads. Hitori jihoku ni ochiyoku Tomino. Tomino fell into hell alone. Jigoku korayami Hana mo naki. Hell is wrapped in darkness, and even the flowers don't bloom. Muchi de Takaku, wa Tomino no Aneka, is the person with the whip, Tomino's older sister. Muchi no Shubusuya, Gaki ni Kakuru. I wonder who the whips Shibusei. Takaki Yatataki, Yari Tataka Zutotemo. Hit without hitting. Mujin Jigoku Wahito Su Michi. Familiar hells, one road. Kurai Jigoku Iinai Wotanomu. Would you lead him to the dark hell? Kane no Hitsu ni Uguisu ni. To the sheep of gold, to the bush warbler. Kawai no Fukuro ni Yaikura Hodoirio. I wonder how much you put into the leather pocket. Mujin Jigoku no Tabish Hitaku. For the preparation of the journey in the familiar hell. Haruga Kitisoru Hayashi ni Tani ni. Spring is coming even in the forest and the stream. Kurai Jigoku Tanina Namagari. Even in the stream of the dark hell. Kagoni Yaguisu Karuma ni Yahitsuji. The bush warbler in the birdcage, the sheep in the wagon. Kawaii Tomino Nomenia Namida. Tears in the eyes of cute Tomino. Nakeo Uguisu Hayashi no Ame ni. Cry bush warbler towards the raining forest. Imuto Koishito Koi Gagiri. He shouts that he misses his little sister. Nakeba Kodama ga Jigoku ni Ibiki. The crying echo reverberates throughout hell. Kitsune Botan no Hana ga Saku. The fox pennoi blooms. Jigoku Naneyama Nanatani Meguru. Circling around hell 7 mountains and 7 streams. Kawaii Tomino no Hitoritabi. The Lonely Journey of Cute Tomino. Jigoku. Gozarabamo. Deketeta Mori. If they're in hell, bring them to me. Hari no Oyama no Tomebari wo. The Needle of the Graves. Aka Tomehari. Dateniwa Sasanu. I won't pierce with the red needle. Kawaii Tomino no Mejiru Shini. In the milestones of Little Tomino. Short and sweet. This is a ritual pasta for those who were confused with the format. This is a poem, but not just any poem. This is Tomino's Hell. For most people who may wonder, what is this exactly? Don't worry, it's Japanese, and it's apparently a poem with dark results. What dark results, you may ask? Well, apparently anybody who reads this, get this, could die. Or at least great harm could come to them. You might even injure yourself upon reciting it, if you're lucky, that is. Remember, that's just being lucky. Death is inevitable. You may realize that, I'm still alive. After reading the entire poem, both in Japanese and English, and thank God that I'm alive, and I hope I'm alive for quite a while. Just one of those things we all hope for, you know, love, wealth, life, and happiness, and all that good stuff. But I read this about 3 days ago in the voiceover you have heard in the earlier half of this video. So what conclusion can I come to? It seems like this is in fact just a giant hoax. Did it kill me? Not really. But what did I feel after reading it? Well, I did feel like throwing up, but that was more attributed to the food I had earlier that day rather than reading a spooky poem. Now mind you, I had full knowledge of what I was reading and what the risks were. And I didn't care. I guess some would say I took a risk, but I don't think anything would have happened. And at the end of the day, would you really look at that? Nothing did happen. Fortunately, I know some people were actually scared to try such a ritual, and I don't blame them. You know, you never really know what's going to happen in today's world. I'm a skeptic myself, so was I going to take the risk? Hell yeah, just to see what would happen. Now, I never browsed 2chan. Hell, I don't really know what it is other than Japan's sort of main chan board. But I actually saw this poem a while back on other forums and whatnot. Not on chans, but just on regular forums and whatnot. The, you know, general section of any kind of forum. Way before I read through any big creepypastas constantly. And although I was exposed to it, I didn't really dive into it at the time to see what it really was. After reading it, it seems like hype. Again, I read it in Japanese and English, and something should have happened, but ultimately nothing did. Now again, some people say I have to match perfect translations, or, you know, match the perfect dialect in Japanese, but again, the same thing could happen to you if you've read it in English, and I'm sure I read it in a proper dialect for English. In fact, what would be the proper dialect for this anyways is the big question. Nothing happened, and ultimately I can say that this will not kill you. I assume even if you have heard it, I think almost everyone watching this video currently is hopefully alive. I really, really hope. But nothing happened. And it's just one of those rituals that, usually with rituals you deal with a lot of steps that you have to take, and that's why it becomes so convoluted to do anyways. Over here it's just reciting something, and I decided to recite it and nothing really happened. Was I shocked? Not really. Some history on the cursed poem itself shows its origins definitely being in the publication "The Heart is Like a Rolling Stone." However, the legend that it kills people upon recitation seems to be a bit flaky. It causing great harm, again, it's one of those things tossed around and blown up in the hyperbole that is the internet. Now, the legend is a little bit of a fiction, I guess. The story itself and interpretations that it holds stick to the Buddhist faith. Looking closer, we can see that, Tomino, around Tomino specifically, there is hell. Everyone really does go through quite a fair bit. But it seems to Tomino, him or her or themselves, it doesn't seem like anything's really happening to them initially. The translation aside, the poem has a creepy tone to it. Even with the Japanese translation, hell, even if you read it in Japanese too, it's just one of those things that comes off as creepy, even if you don't understand it in the host language. It's just one of those things that I think that it captures wholeheartedly. There is this creepiness factor to it, and I love it. Is the English translation, I think, verbatim what the Japanese is? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of things that may have just been lost in translation. It wasn't a perfect trans, translation effort, but it was fairly good. I just think some few key things were missing. Maybe that's why I didn't die. I guess I didn't read the English version properly, and I guess I totally butchered the Japanese. In fact, I'm very sure that I butchered parts of the Japanese of this VO, but I'm not perfect at speaking that language, and hopefully I can get some slack for that, But that being said, that was Tomino's Hell, and it's one of those creepypastas that I was constantly asked to read, to check out. And was it worth it? Yeah, I guess I totally did cure my curiosity. Was it the result I expected? Of course, I did not expect this thing to actually kill me, and thankfully it didn't. But do I feel satisfied? Yes, because at the end of the day, it was a creepypasta, a creepy ritual pasta, and it definitely succeeded in what the first part of it really should have been. Creepy. It was a creepy poem with creepy undertones and a pretty morbid concept. Thankfully it didn't, pan out in the end. But then again, maybe if you recite it, will you be as lucky as I am, or, hey, is this just a giant hoax? Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and what would you rate this ritual pasta? Would you recite Tomino's Hell on your own? Let me know in the comments below. This has been another episode of Ritual Pastas, part of Creepypastas and Haunted Gaming. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. This is me, Mudahar, and I am out.